Okay, we are. Yeah, I am live. This is the first time I've used this, so bear with me. I just think we're waiting for a few people to log in. Okay, that's good. There's people joining. Great. Um, so I'm going to be managing Instagram and Facebook. So it might look a little bit weird if I'm going from here to here, but it's because I'm going to be chatting, multitasking, which is not one of my fortes, and looking at any questions that might come in. So hopefully there will be some questions. I've never used one of these live features, and like seeing you all kind of logging in is is a bit weird because obviously you're not going to be talking back. It's just going to be me talking. But please do type some questions for me. Anything that you might want to ask, that'll be amazing. Okay, I am just going to start by saying welcome to King's Head Theatre online, which is an amazing way for us to keep connected in this current climate, because obviously we're all so sort of distant from each other, but not if we can use things like this, these platforms. So it's pretty amazing, really. I'm gonna just chat to you about my acting career and my work with the King's Head Theatre, and anything else you might want to know, all from the comfort of my home. I think we've got quite a few people logged in now, so that's good. Okay, this is the most I've spoken in like 2 weeks, so it's so weird. Just been doing nothing. Okay, so where should I start? Okay, someone said good luck with your first live program. Okay, so I'll just tell you a bit about me. So basically, I'm an actor. I trained at Drama Centre London, and I graduated about 10 years ago now. And it's been an amazing, awful, wonderful, tough, brilliant experience, as is the world of the arts always is. It's never straightforward. It's never smooth. Graduated about 10 years ago, and since then I've done a lot of theatre. I've been doing last year quite a lot of TV, and I started off my career in the West End. So my first job was in a play, Much Ado About Nothing, which was at the Wyndham's Theatre in the West End with the wonderful Catherine Tate and David Tennant. That was a great experience for a first job, so did about 6 months on that in total, which was a great learning experience. It was directed by Josie Rourke, who used to be the Don Mars artistic director, so she directed it. Someone said it is a good play. Yeah, it is a great play. And then I've gone on to work quite extensively in theatre, and I started working for the King's Head. I got a call for, I don't know if anyone saw it, but I got a call for, someone's asked what did I play. I played Conrad, and I understudied Claudio, and I never got to go on as Claudio, which I suppose it's always a scary thing as an understudy, because you kind of want to go on, but the fear of having to go on in such a big role at last minute. So I got to do the understudy run, but I never actually went on as Claudio in Much Ado. So yeah, back to King's Head Theatre. I got a call to audition for a play called Coming Clean, which has just been on at Trafalgar Studios in the West End. That was its third run. I played the character of Tony. The play was written by Kevin Elliott, and so I got a call for the audition. I think it was back in 2017, and they were doing it as their main headlining piece for the celebration, really, of 50 years decriminalisation of homosexuality, partial decriminalisation. So it was to celebrate that. So it was a big revival of Kevin Elliott's very first play. I don't know if anyone knows Kevin Elliott's work, but he was an incredible writer. He sadly passed away, of course. But Coming Clean was his first play. He's quite famous for My Night with Reg, But Coming Clean, we I've had a question, so I'm gonna, and it's on the subject, so I'm gonna turn to that. So someone has asked me what made me choose Coming Clean, and had I previously read it? No, I hadn't previously read it. I literally got the audition through, got the script through, and I remember I was feeling quite disheartened. I hadn't had many auditions. I was feeling a bit down, which I find always happens. I think it always seems that when you feel that nothing's around that you want to do, and then suddenly that's when I think something seems to always pop up. But I chose it because I read it, and just like Kevin Elliott's writing is just incredible. It is just, his writing is a gift for an actor. So once I read the role, I just was like, this is incredible. I want to play it. There was just, yeah, it was just so good. I connected with it in a lot of ways. And so we did it at the King's Head Theatre in 2017. Excuse me, and it sold out, and it was a great run, and we ended up transferring it to the Trafalgar Studios a year and a half later, in 2019, which went great. I don't know if anyone saw it. And Trafalgar Studios is a great space, and the King's Head do a lot at the Trafalgar Studios. It's a beautiful, beautiful space. And then we did it again. I mean, what are the chances to get to do a play and role that you love 3 times? So we did it again this year for its 3rd run. Oh, someone said they did see it and it was brilliant. That's very kind. And Theatre Weekly, thank you. Yeah, it was great. It's a play that will always be very dear to me, because it's opened up a lot of doors and a lot of opportunities for me, which as an actor that's what you always want. You do a job, you want people to see it, you want you want the right people to see it, you want to share it with audiences that matter, and it did. And when we did Coming Clean in 2019, it was when Inheritance was on. I don't know if any of you saw The Inheritance. But The Inheritance was a really prominent piece about the AIDS crisis in the 80s. And it was about what gay people have inherited. What have we learned from our past? That's what The Inheritance was about. And it was 2 parts. It was 7 hours. And we were on just sort of at the time Inheritance was on. And I think that because Coming Clean's based in the 80s, I think that a lot of young gay people, or not just young gay people, I think a lot of people suddenly realise that actually they need to go and understand their past. They need to understand their history. And Coming Clean, written in the 80s, does look at gay life in a time where it had just been decriminalised. So it was a different way of living for gay people. So it was quite a big year, 2019, when we were in the West End with Coming Clean, because of Inheritance and because of that subject being at the front of people's minds. And so it's very dear to me, that piece. Do you have any questions that I can answer about anything at all? Anything. Coming Clean, my work with the King's Head 3 times, why I keep going back. Maybe we'll do it again. Who knows? Maybe. Okay. I've had a question. How am I staying creative during this time? Hang on. We've had... okay. I've got 2 questions. So I'll answer the first one. How am I staying creative during this time? So it's difficult. Because if you're naturally creative, you need to be creative for your own sanity. So I do write quite a bit. I write a bit of comedy. I've written a comedy sitcom pilot that I sent to BBC Writers' Room, which got to the semi-final, which I'm really pleased about. yeah, I kind of keep sane by writing and doing stuff around the house and reading a lot and watching a lot of stuff. I coach students, so I'm coaching a lot of students online for drama school auditions, which I love, 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 love. I've just built a website called theauditionroom.co.uk, so people can have online coaching for things so they can feel creative. So it's just really important to keep busy at a time where the industry has, someone's asked what my social media is. My social media is my Instagram is Lee Anthony Knight, and my Twitter is the Lee Knight, and you can find me on there if you want to ask me anything. I've got some other questions. Let's have a look. So that's about how I stay creative. So if you've got any more questions about that, I'd happily answer them. Someone said, loved coming clean. How would Tony and Greg be coping with isolation? That is such a good question. And Stanton, who played Greg in the play, I hope he's logged on, but I'm not sure he has because he's in a different time zone. He's back in New York. How would Greg and Tony be coping with isolation? I don't think they'd be coping. I mean, it depends if Robert's there or not. I think if Robert's there, maybe they wouldn't be coping as well. But yeah, I don't know if they'd be coping with this at all. Yeah, it's very difficult, isn't it, for couples? So someone has asked, how is isolation for an actor-writer? To be honest, I'm staying positive. I just auditioned for a job. I don't think the job's going to go ahead. It's probably not going to go ahead. They may put it back. I don't know if I got the job, but I think that we need to look at the silver lining, and I think that we need to just take a break. When you're an actor, you constantly are waiting for the phone to ring, waiting for auditions, waiting to know if you got the job, looking at who you could email, what you can do. And I think it's important we just stop and just take a little bit of time to reflect. So for me, it's forced me into the only time when you go on holiday as an actor, you're always, it's like all the time, you can't switch off. And I think this is just an opportunity for us to just step back a bit and assess, which is why this King's Head Online is great, because people can still chat and reflect and ask questions. And I think that's a really important thing. So for me, I'm quite enjoying it, to be honest. It's given me time to just reflect and relax and take care of myself. You have to try and think of the positives, I think. I've had a question. Are there any dream roles you'd love to play? It's a great question. I would absolutely love to play Tom in The Glass Menagerie as a dream role of mine, by Tennessee Williams. Don't know if anyone knows The Glass Menagerie. Can you see me on Facebook? I just want to make sure I'm not like going too much towards Instagram. So yes, so back to dream roles. I would love to play Tom in The Glass Menagerie. Incredible play. I'm still young enough, so if anyone out there wants to produce, direct me, Tom, Glass Menagerie, let's do it. I'm just about young enough. Maybe for a few more years I can do it. So yeah, I would also, what else would I like to play? There is something else. Oh yeah, Constantine the Seagull. Very wonderful part that I'd like to play. And also, did anyone ever see Feston? Leon. Yeah, Leon, thank you for joining. It's very kind of you. The wonderful Leon Fleming is watching, who I did a play, first of all, I should say, you should follow him because he's an incredible writer. And I, as a budding writer, can only look up to someone like Leon Fleming. And I actually did a couple of his plays. He wrote 2 plays, short pieces, in response to what was going on, or what is going on in Chechnya, the treatment of gay people in Chechnya, which has been not covered in press enough, but it has been a bit. And he wrote a play called Boris Got Buggered. Can I say buggered? Yeah, it's not BBC, is it? And and it was amazing. He's an amazing writer, and I don't know if any of you got to see it, but we did it at the Theatre Delhi, and then we did it, actually transferred to the King's Head for one of their seasons. And actually, when it transferred, I'm pretty sure I was doing Coming Clean in 2017, and after I got off stage from doing Coming Clean, I had a 10-minute rest, and then went on and did his plays. Yeah, I did do that. So that was a bit mad. So yeah, Leon Fleming, big fan. Thank you for logging in. I have had another question. Let's have a look. What is my process for audition preparation? Audition preparation. Okay, so for audition prep, the first thing I do is, it depends how much time, it depends on a lot of things. If it's for theatre, I would read the play from front to back and make just as many notes on anything as I can. If it's for screen, you normally don't get a full episode or a full series, you normally get just the sides, so you get a tiny bit of information. So with plays, I would always just work on it as much as possible. I don't learn texts for theatre auditions. I used to put pressure on myself and think I have to learn this. If the lines go in, great. But I think something important to remember is it's auditions for theatre. It's not a performance. You're not going in and performing. There will be a rehearsal process. There's always a rehearsal process. So it's really important. And actually I got more jobs when I realised that you don't want to go in going, I want to be brilliant. I want to learn this. I need to tick all the boxes and be a good student. You just want to do the work you can do on the text and let it get under your skin as much as possible. So when you go in and you get redirected, you can just be alive to the direction. I find if I've worked on things too much and set it in stone too much, then what happens is I can't maneuver when I get direction. I can't change. So you need to, so my advice for any actors auditioning is just do all the work you need to do and then just let it go. Then just get in the room, be alive to it, listen to the director. And the same with TV, it's exactly the same. You need to do a bit more work with the TV audition. You need to, I would always say you learn the lines if you can, but I always have my script just here. So I would have my script in my hand or laid out if I'm sitting down. And then I would be able to look at the camera and look down at my script and then look back up if I needed to. Because sometimes you get audition pieces the day before and it's just impossible to learn. That's my kind of preparation really for auditions. Not to do as much work as you can, but then let it go and be alive to response. Who else has joined? Any other questions about anything? We're doing quite well. We've got 10 minutes left and I haven't stopped babbling on, which is pretty good. Thank God I talk a lot, because otherwise. Okay, I've had another question. Do you have a preference to TV stage or similar intimate theatres like King's Head, Trafalgar? Do you have a preference to TV stage or similar intimate theatres like... I think I know what you mean. I loved performing at the King's Head and the Trafalgar. I prefer small spaces. I prefer the intimacy of small venues. When you can really feel the audience's response, it's like that is something, it brings something completely different to live theatre. And Coming Clean's an example, you know, the play was all in the living room of the characters. So everything, it was like the audience had their feet on the living room carpet. So you just, you just feel the audience's response. So intimate spaces, I think, are just totally amazing to perform in. You can kind of feel the audience's response. You can feel where they're at. You can hear them. So if it's a smaller venue, you feel a little bit more like you're working with them in a way. Okay, I've got another question. What advice would I give to a young actor joining the industry? God, it's a hard time to join, isn't it? But there's a lot of things on your side, and one of those is that things are moving to online now. So I'm coaching a lot of my students who are trying to get into drama school. I'm coaching them online. So everything is kind of moving online, and people are suddenly shifting everything to online suddenly. And it just shows how much you can do. And drama school auditions are now going to be done online. A lot of castings are done via self-tape. So I'd say to young actors, the good thing is once we get through this period, we are going to need to make work. We are going to need to make more TV. There'll be green lighting stuff because there's only so much stuff they can release now. Nothing is filming. Nothing at all is filming. So we as an industry are on hold in the sense of making new stuff. No one's filming. So once we get through this period, I think that there's going to be a huge need for new work, because everyone's going to watch everything they can on Netflix and Amazon, and cinema has been so they're releasing stuff now online rather than in the cinema. They're bringing it forward. So I think that it's going to be a really exciting time for theatre and TV once we get through this period. I think it's going to be massively. I think there's going to be a lot of work because people have been cooped up for so long, so they're going to want to go out and see some stuff. I nearly swore then. I got to stop that. Nearly swore. Nearly said the S word. But it's not the BBC, so I think you can, right? What else? Any other questions in regards? We've got about 7 minutes left. I'm looking at my notes just to see if maybe I should talk a bit about stuff that I've got coming up. Aaron's watching. Yay! Hey, Aaron. So basically, I have a couple of things coming out this year. If they don't postpone them, they might do. I filmed a film last year in Mallorca, a little bit in Mallorca and a bit in London, and it's called The Last Letter from Your Lover, and it's based on a book by Jojo Moyes, a love story. She wrote the book on Me Before You and stuff like that. And it stars Shailene Woodley from Big Little Lies. Joe Alwyn's in it, who's a wonderful young actor. Callum Turner's in it. I don't know if anyone saw him in Capture. He's in it. So I did that, so that should be coming out in the summer. And also I went to Budapest just before we did Coming Clean. I literally got back 3 days before we did Coming Clean. I went out to Budapest a couple of times and shot a BBC drama called The North Water, which is based on a book called The North Water, which is incredible, about whaling in the 1800s, very dark. Colin Farrell's in it, Jack O'Connell's in it. I play Tom Courtney, Sir Tom Courtney's assistant, which is, working opposite Tom Courtney was just a dream. That will be coming up, but not till later this year. And I think they had some more filming to do. I think they were going to be filming out in Canada in March, but I don't know what has happened with that. So whether that will be put back or brought forward, who knows? So yeah, nice that I've got some work coming out later this year because, not doing anything right now. Hi, Kenneth. Looking forward to seeing you on the screen hopefully soon. Yes, this year. you might see me pop up. Does anyone else have any questions? We've got 5 minutes left. I'm going to take a moment to just sip my non-caffeine fake coffee, because otherwise I'll just be wired. So it's not real caffeine. I'm just going to sip it and see if you've got any questions for me. Don't all rush at once. Maybe I should tell you that I nearly chopped my finger off with a blunt knife just before the corona hit. And I had to, I was cutting a spring onion, making an omelette, and this is disgusting, but I just sliced half my fingernail off. So it's mending. It's nearly there. That's a nice story, isn't it? Okay, I've got another question. What's your favourite theatre to watch when you're not busy in a show? I love just going to smaller venues and seeing what's going on. I get a little bit, I'm not bored, I just don't always want to go to see a really famous person in a big show. I think it's I want to go and hunt out the smaller venues and see what they're doing, see if they're doing anything a bit more exciting. There's some great stuff on, and there's some great stuff with, you know, names and stuff like that, but I just think for me, you know, sometimes it seems like there's a lot of the same old stuff being done in the West End, so it's nice to hunt out and see what smaller theatres are doing, like the King's Head, like the Trafalgar Studios, like the Kiln, the Donmar. There's some really exciting venues putting on great work. I went to see something at the Vaults. They're doing some really nice stuff as part of their festival. So yeah, I like to go and see just as much as possible. And at the moment, apparently, the National are going to be releasing some of their live shows on their website, which is amazing. It's amazing what we can watch now from the comfort of our own home. And BFI Flair are going to be putting everything out online, so all their LGBTQ plus films and their festival is going to be, you know. Oh, hi, Matt. Okay, I've got a question. Hang on. I'm a Manchester-based theatre blogger, totally about... it's not a question. He's just plays the thing. Hi. Totally agree about fringe theatre. Great to people advocate it. Yeah, it's really, you know, it's exciting what you can create in a dark, dingy room. It's really exciting. Sometimes it's not about budget and what you can throw at a production, and in the sense of names, and you know, it's about the heart, isn't it? It's about what you're making and why you're making it, and the passion behind it. Couldn't just, you know, that's where great theatre starts, really. We have 2 minutes left. 2 minutes. If you want to follow me on Twitter, my Twitter is the Lee Knight, Knight with a K, so Lee L-E-E, Knight with a K, and my Instagram is Lee Anthony Knight. My middle name's Anthony Anthony So Instagram Lee Anthony Knight, Twitter the Lee Knight. Feel free to get in touch if you want to ask me anything at all. If you're an actor and you're trying to get in drama school, check out my website, theauditionroom.co.uk, or just get in touch if you need any career advice or whatever. We've got 1 minute left. Should we see if we get one more question? Maybe not. Anyone want to say anything before I go? 1 minute. Matt, want to say anything? I can see you. Shall I wave? Let me wave at a couple of people. There you go. And then when it's past, we'll be done. Oh, apparently there was a question. I didn't see that. If you were to give directors one piece of advice, what would it be? Oh, that's a good question. I'm going to try and answer it. If you were to give directors one piece of advice, what would it be? Oh, that's the hard. Why is that the hardest question? Oh my God, if I was to give directors one piece of advice, what would it be? I think it's about understanding the process of an actor's, the amount of time it takes to learn lines, and that sometimes if you learn them before you get in the rehearsal room, it's not always the best way because you're setting things in stone. And as an actor, you need to be in the room working that like a muscle so they embed and go in. When people try and get actors to learn lines, I think you have problems along the way in a rehearsal space. I think you're setting yourself up for actors being stuck and not able to move. I think sometimes it depends on rehearsal time, of course. I think sometimes if you've got the gift of a nice amount of time, and sometimes with small theatre you don't, but if you've got the gift of a nice amount of time in a rehearsal, I think actors should always go in prepared as much as possible. But if you learn your lines set in absolute stone, I think that it's tough. It's tough because you've learned them in a very monotonous way, and then you've got to relearn them. And the way you learn lines is not through learning them like this, it's actually through the emotion and through the story. So that would be my advice. Any place for theatre we're currently, or not currently, but you know what I mean, making theatre below decks on the QE2. Oh, wow, well done. That's incredible. That's incredible. Can you send some videos or tell us a handle that, Dubai Theatre Director, check it out. They're doing theatre below deck on the QE2. Elliot Hadley's joined. Jen Davis. We have to log out now, but I'm giving you a shout out. So I think that's it. I think I'm done. So I'm going to end now. But thank you all for logging on and listening to me babble on. And do get in touch with me if you have any more questions. Hi, Jen. Hi, Elliot. All right. I'm leaving now. Thank you. Have a good day.